All right. I went ahead and started the recording. Let's hit it. Officially, good evening. Welcome out to the Market Watch Group Trading Foundations working sessions. This is kind of the combination beginner, intermediate. Like I said, we're going to grind straight through. So without further ado, let's jump right in. First and foremost, as always, disclaimers reminding you that this is for education and illustrative purposes only. We are not brokers. We are not advisors. We don't give advice per se or recommendations. And let's go take a look at the platform together now. So a couple of things that we said we're going to do in this working session. Number one, we said we're going to start to carve a little bit of time for the trading plan. We're going to build this habit because this is section 8 this week. So anyone's new, anyone who only has 1 or 2 passes on their trading plan, we're about to start over from the beginning, section 1 on Sunday. So as part of that, I'm going to make sure that we do 2 things every Tuesday as part of our working session. And then this will hopefully help you to develop habits along these same lines. Number 1, we're going to work on a section of the plan. That means we're going to talk about it together. Now, if you're not working on that section of the plan, so some of the people who have been here a little longer are now doing what we call prioritization. So what they've done is they've gone through and they have assessed each component of their trading plan individually. It's a lot like what we do on the market posture, right? Where we're like, oh, let's look at each thing individually so that we make sure we understand it. Then we can see the whole thing together. So you break it down. You look at the trading plan one section at a time, and you score it 1 to 10, 1 to 5, whatever scale you think is best, 4 stars. I like 1 to 10. So I'm like, okay, this is strong. There's some detail, whatever we say. The first time you score it, it's probably going to be a little bit of a uncomfortable routine process. But we score it, we get done, we get a total assessment of our trading plan. It's a self-assessment, but it gives us a starting point. Then what? Then we look at the lowest 2 numbers. It was an interesting thing. I did this using the sample trading plan that I am showing you right now. And based on the evaluation we did as a group, we were like, oh man, the market posture is weak. We gave it a 3.5 or a 4. I went in, I gave it more detail. You can see that's what we have now. This is the major market now. Look at the detail here. Now I could score that much higher. I should find those old slides. I still have them somewhere and we could review that. But when you get to this point, you would go through your plan and you would say, you know what? I feel like my weakest part are my trading rules. So I'm going to go in to review one of my systems, or I'm going to, doesn't matter. Just you're making a habit every week, spending some time on your trading plan until you get that plan to 90 plus. Every section is 9 out of 10. Now, remember that you're trading along the way. So you're not just like, oh, I'm developing rules. You're developing rules. You're trading. You're making observations. You're keeping records. You've made a point to understand and acknowledge your weaknesses so that you can. All of those things are leading us to how do we improve. That is this week's section 8. And this is one that I think gets overlooked quite often. Now, I want you to notice this is a pretty fleshed out trading plan. It's 12 pages. 12 pages. That's a lie. It's only 11 pages. Apparently, I let my work bleed over. Okay. What do we have here? Improvement strategies. Goals. First and foremost, that's our rule. Outcome, only one. What do we mean when we say an outcome goal? I want to make X% per month, per quarter, per year, whatever it may be. When you're talking about what you're hoping to accomplish as a return, That's hard, right? That's hard. That's like a blade of grass talking about how high he's going to grow, how fast he's going to grow this week, knowing there's a lawnmower going around. Like, you're just snickering, like, oh, is that what you're going to do, buddy? Okay. We trade at the behest of the market. The market provides the conditions. If we have a sustained, sideways, choppy market, that's tough. And if at the end of that period of time the market was like up 4%, and you're like, hey, the market was up 4 and I was up 10 or 12, that's victory, right? That's success. You outperformed the market. You commensurated the activity that you're performing. That's outcome goals. I really don't like them. There's a quote, comes from the Market Wizards book. His name is Tom Basso. His nickname is Mr. Serenity. That's a beautiful nickname for a trader. Mr. Serenity. Serenity now. He said, I focus my attention on trading well and let the results take care of themselves. Don't focus on the results. He focuses on the process of trading well. What does that look like? Well, that looks like process goals. Improve your execution, improve your rules, improve your understanding, improve. Do something better. The aggregation of marginal improvement. When people learn to trade, it's not like they think, oh, I've got to do 180 degrees. That's usually wrong. They need to make a few adjustments here or there. Do some things a little better. Stop doing a few things. Start doing a few things. Bam, you're right where you need to be. And then it's just the fine tuning. And that's where the improvement strategy section of your plan is all about the fine tuning. How are you making those subtle adjustments? Right? It's like when you're driving a car and the freeway is straight. You're not just keeping your hand straight. You're constantly left, right, little adjustments. Little adjustments. You couldn't make those adjustments with your eyes closed, right? That's our feedback. We got to have it. So this is where I would love to see some sharing and interaction this week. Well, every week. We have a channel for trading discussions. What would be great there? Trading plan discussions, where somebody just says, and I know Steven's not here tonight, but he loves this idea. And I keep getting individual acknowledgments that they're like, oh, I can't wait for our community to be stronger in the off hours, right? Great. We need an effort of those here now to get that tipping point where we get past it and it's like, okay, now we start to see organic traction. So just keep that in mind, but we're definitely moving that way. So let's just think of times that we can do it. What are the best things to discuss? Trades, trading plans. Trades, trading plans. Those are the two things that we want to make sure that we're hitting. What plan or what section of the plan are you focused on? And then what trade are you taking? So as part of that, like I said, just like we just did now, that was only 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Any questions from anybody before I move on about what you're doing with improvement strategies? There's no right or wrong answers in trading plans. This is about you organizing ideas into rules and parameters. Even if it's just a little one sentence becomes two becomes a paragraph. Now you have a plan. That's it. That's what we're working with. So let me know now. I tend to adhere to the SMART method of goals, specific, measurable, achievable, reasonable, and timely. So it's important that we do record keeping on our goals where we say, here's what I want to do. So that at the end of this year, I can look back in April and May in June and be like, I made a big effort to X. Did I achieve it? Did I learn from it? Did I pivot from it? We don't want our trading to be a spaghetti on the wall exercise. We want it to be a scalpel and laser. It's surgical, right? It's not a shotgun approach. It's not a, let's see what sticks approach. After the first pass, we really start to fine tune. After the second pass, we polish. After that, it's all about precision. Thought I saw someone typing, but looks like not. So I'm going to move on. But if you have a question, no problem going back. What's the next thing we said we were going to do today? We're going to formalize an increase in our watch list real quickly. Actually, no. Let's talk about the market. Then we'll go formalize that. It was an interesting couple of days. Yesterday, we got a nice push on the market. An engulfing candle. Average volume, 52 million. What did we get yesterday? 63. That's an increase in volume. That's a plus volume day. What's the problem? Well, we gave it back today. Right? But that's not enough for us to be like, oh no, the market's changed. Those two wash out. One increases, one decreases. So far, no harm, no foul. Could it change? Well, yeah, that's what tomorrow's for. What's happening? Well, it was some big global geopolitical news, right? 100 missiles from Iran into Israel. The tensions in the Middle East are escalating. That war is never good here for the markets in the short term. If you didn't, let's go take a quick peek at oil. I'm going to go /CL. That's the crude oil futures. Honestly, if I just showed you this chart, and I said, as a group, let's come up with a consensus. What do we think is going on here? Would any of you say, you know what, Scott, I want to make the claim that this is reversing. Yesterday was so fantastic for the buyers. Remember that when we look at charts, we're trying to have narrative, a story. Yesterday was so fantastic. Look at the buyers. They smashed and grabbed. Now we think it's changed. Would anyone make that case? Let me know. I don't see anybody typing, and I would tell you right now, I would not make that case. I would say we found a similar low as the last time, and we bounced off of it, and we got up here, and we honestly didn't even get really to the consolidation is still in place. We didn't get past the previous high. We didn't get to the 50. The buyers really didn't do that much. Period. Are they done? We don't know. But so far in the after hours, what are we seeing? Nothing. We don't see more. Could it go more tomorrow? Sure. But as of right now, I'm saying to myself, this does not look like this is fundamentally changing the market. This looks like, we know the market. You overreact so very often. We'll go look at the VIX here in a second. I want to remind you. I'm trying to see if I can get this to stick. I call it the Great Pearl Clutch of 24. They have things like the flash crash, where it's like there was this big thing and there was a bunch of crashing and it triggered a bunch of things. The Great Pearl Clutch. What am I talking about? I'm talking about. Now here's the deal. Let me pull up the SPY. Okay. When you look at this, do you think to yourself, I see a reason why the market would see the VIX spike into the 60s? The 60s. Remember that the pandemic, it got to like 70s. And when that happened, it was like an absolute shitstorm. Limit down, which means it goes down 5%, and they stop the market because they're like, we got to stop the market. The thing dropped it was insane. And then the VIX went crazy. This was not even 10%. 10%. If you look at this on a weekly, you're like, what are you talking about? Nothing bad happened. There was just a little hiccup, and then just kept going, right? And yet, what did the VIX do? Like, the VIX went off the chain. Like, the market overreacts. That's what we want to... Look at that, man. That's madness. Utter madness right there. Okay, so let's go see if that's what's happening now. Now, here's what we do have. We've lost our lower high. Yesterday, we were looking for it. I still we still did an alert, and I still like the alert. Today, I was like, all right, are we going to see confirmation? Well, not when that news comes out, and what happens? This did not roll for a lower high. It actually popped up. Now, I want you to notice that even though we tested higher, the body held the previous high. I'm gonna make some leeway based on my market posture score of 5.5. I'm gonna give this some leeway and say that's a same high. I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's a higher high. I'm gonna say, you know what? The market got a little jittered by that news, but if tomorrow things start to recover, I don't know. Give me your thoughts. I think that's fine. I'm okay with that. If we can come out of that with just like dust it off real quick and start moving again, I think that actually goes to and speaks to the strength, the underlying strength of the market. So, okay. Give me your thoughts. Wilbur says, longshoremen strike a big deal or not? So hard to tell, right? This is one of those times where it's like, if I was fixing my car, bad idea. I don't know much about cars. I usually use this analogy for how we fix our trading, but here's an example of where it might apply as well. I have YouTube. I have tools. I can watch a video enough times that I could probably change most parts out. So if I'm like, all right, let's fix the car. What are we going to do here? Well, the first thing is I'm not going to just start randomly changing things where I'm like, you know what? Let's replace the alternator and also the battery. And let's do spark plugs 1 and 3. But only 1 and 3, none of the rest of them. So there's a chance that the alternator was exactly what was wrong. And I fixed it. But at the same time, because I don't know what I'm doing, when I changed one of the spark plugs, I broke it. I didn't gap it right. I didn't tighten it right. I didn't do something. And now it doesn't work. And I'm like, oh, well, it was none of those 3 things. When it was exactly 2 of those things. And yet I couldn't tell because I wasn't really isolating what I was trying to fix or, right? I didn't fix one, start it, and be like, I don't think that was it. So I don't think we can tell yet that we can say that's, some people might be like, oh, that longshoreman thing's a big deal. Look at the volume today. Look at but it's really where everyone's like, no, that wasn't longshoreman. That's the Middle East. And then it's like, well, no, let's go back the other way. When at the end of the day, when you look at oil and when you look at the market, I think we're okay. We're okay for now. I don't think it looks phenomenal. I think it looks okay and looks to be setting up additional trades. If we come out of this little correction, not a correction, part of my verbiage. If we come out of this little consolidation, this little pullback, and just like shake it off like it's nothing, what does that mean? It tells me that there's some great underlying strength in this market. So for me, it's a matter of, Yeah, I'm not looking to shut down trades, take losses when I've got plenty of opportunity to see if this thing's going to recover. Question came in from Dan. Do you think as we get closer to the election, it will affect the volatility in the market? Honestly, I don't, unless there is some crazy shakeup. I think right now it's close enough that it will be after the election if and when there's no clear decision and they're like, then that uncertainty will most definitely be tough for the market. The sooner we get to certainty of a candidate winning, regardless of the side, just to be clear, I know deep down we're in our hearts thinking political biases are a hard one. We're thinking to ourselves, if my guy wins, it'll be good. If the other guy loses, it'll be bad. If somebody wins convincingly and there's no uncertainty, it's good. That's all we need. That's all we need. Anything else telling you like, if this happens, it's bad, that's a bias coming in. The chimp is at the cage rattling it a little bit, starting to make some noise. You just got to, it's no big deal. Move away. Okay. So let's go. Stephen agrees. Likes. Thank you. I like it. Please weigh in. I want to hear from you guys. You know I like to feel like we're dialoguing. Miguel always teases me and says I'm monologuing. So I like to prefer to more of a one-sided conversation. Right? A one-sided conversation. All right. Let's talk about what we did see. I was waiting for this last week. And I thought viable, but as this pulled back, it ultimately looks like it actually did close. When I looked at it towards the end of the day, I'm like, it's not going to do it. I think the body would have had to have been above the high, which was at 194.81, so 194.85, which is exactly where we are right now, 194.84. The day before, and so this day it didn't. This day it closed 194.25, was a little too low, and then nothing the next day, and then what? Boom! Now we turn. We've got the hook down here. We've got the momentum. We know it's a strong group. That's the. Here's the thing: is if we're like, you know what, I'm gonna wait for more confirmation from the market, then we wait for the market to be like give a rally date, and then all of a sudden, bam! It's tough. It's tough. We've got to be willing to put some things on prior to the big momentum coming. Maybe we have time to get some things on post start of the wave, but yeah. Any questions about this? You can kind of see what was this trade looking for. I just took this. Is this reasonable? Why is that doing that? I don't know. Let's move this. You can see, yes, it took a little longer, but was even a little bigger over there. So in the current momentum, we also could take this and put this over here, and look how close that is. Close enough that I like to use it as my target. So, yeah. What's going on? Stop loss down underneath here. Initial target about halfway up. Let me move this so you can see. Right around this level here. Full target up here. Hoping it goes quickly, but willing to give it 3 to 5 extra days if I need to. What kind of a trade did I take? Well, if you look down at the implied volatility, it's a little bit inflated. And it's not just a little bit inflated, but it's also empirically somewhat high. What does that mean? So we do two things when we look at implied volatility. We look at where is it now relative to where it's been. Well, low is down here in the 30s, low to mid 30s. High is up here, but it was only there for just a teeny little bit. So I would say high is around 57. How did I determine the entry range? Honestly, it's just kind of giving it like about a 50. Like if you notice, the range is from about the top of this down below. If you're getting in better than the range, there's nothing wrong with that. So it's not like there's some formula to it. It's that it's given me a signal. So now I'm going to look at where is it and how high and how low would I be willing to say that signal's still valid. Does that make sense, David? Great question, by the way. So we have an entry. Our stochastic has turned. The candles have turned. Stop is down here. Target's up here. We have all of this in our favor. That's our trade. That's it. Now what do we do? Back to what I was saying about volatility. Volatility's high. I don't want to buy. It's a $200 stock. I don't want to necessarily buy expensive stock. It's overall higher than not volatility, so the options are expensive. So what are my thoughts? Spread. So what was the trade that I put in the alert? A bull call spread. Buy the 190, slightly in the money option. Sell the 200, slightly out of the money option. Now, what does that ultimately end up looking like? Well, let's go take a peek at what that looks like here. Let me move this over here. Unlock this. I'm going to add a 212 slice. I'm going to move it a little bit this way. What am I doing here? I've moved it so that my analysis, this is my stop down at 190. I actually think I might have even gone, maybe I should even go a little lower than that, 189. 180. Yeah, maybe I'd even go like that. I did this wrong. There we go. Where are we now? Where are we wrong? First level right, second level right. That's what we're looking at here. Now you can see 330, 250. It depends. Let me go back to my chart for just 1 second. Let me make sure. 189. Yeah, I just want to be below this low. 190, 140, 190, 140, 190, 158. 0.5% below that. I actually feel like 190.5 would be fine, actually. 190.5, maybe 190, anywhere between 189, 190.5, somewhere in that range is what I would be thinking about. Okay, now. I have my risk from here to here. Let me actually remind you guys what we can do here. If you're on Thinkorswim, I can take this menu and I can set the slices to my chart. Bing. Now what? Now zoom, unzoom. Give it a little more room. What am I looking for? First target, second target, right? That's what we're looking for. Stop is underneath there. Now, I'm probably not gonna put that as a hard stop. If I were to do a hard stop, I'd have it a little bit lower still until I got the right Heiken Ashi candle. I don't have it yet. So have a stop a little bit lower initially and then move it up and then start to tighten it. There it is. Do we say, oh, the market did this, so we're not going to do that? No, we trade what we see. This gave a signal. We've been talking about what we like as a leading group, industrials. And now it comes to fruition. Love it. Love it. Questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Let's go look at the full watch list now. Okay. No, not the full watch list yet. One more thing. Reason for bull put spread versus, or a bull call spread versus single. Because the implied volatility was not low, the options were not cheap. We like to buy cheap options. We don't like to buy not cheap, or what we would say expensive. So the high range, other than 2 days before earnings, was around 57. We're at 52. The low is 33. That kind of tells you like we're up really, really up near the highs. So our assessment, my assessment in this case, was that the options were not cheap. They're expensive. So what do I want to do? I want to protect myself by selling one. So I buy the 180, sell the 190, and now I give myself what? Let me show you. That was a great question, Miguel. Miguel is known far and wide for his great questions. I think our group is known for their great questions, in fact. What do I have? Well, early in the trade, I'm theta neutral. If this goes against me, I actually want you to notice something. I have this out till the 15th. And at the 15th, I'm losing this amount. I actually think we would be wrong within a week. So if today is the 1st, we would be wrong by the 8th. And the 8th, we're losing not 333, we're only losing 300. Why? Because time is not much. Where we are now, if we wait a week and it just sits where it is, no harm, no foul. We're losing 30 cents a day on the trade. Literally 30 cents a day. So at the end of the week, you lost $2 in the trade. We're fine with that. What I want you to notice, though, is that when this moves up into this area of us being right, theta goes positive. So once this trade moves into the momentum stage, we can just sit and let it coast. We're not in a hurry, right? We can let it coast because time is on our side. If we bought the option, not only would we be theta negative, but because the implied volatility is high, we would be really theta negative, very theta negative. Which means the options are expensive and you're going to lose more per day. Sorry, let me. My dog went from chewing his bone to being hungry, so now he's getting kicked out. All right, let's see. If I were to think about a single trade, such a good discussion. All right, so we're going to talk about this. We're going to run a quick search, and then we're going to look at the full watch list. And then we will let you go for the debate. If I were to go out to, let's say, November, and I were to buy, and even if we were to go, now remember the implied volatility is a little high. Let's go at the money, or a little out of the money, the 200s, a little out of the money. Okay? Now, if I do the spread, I'm only risking about $300. How many of these can I do? One contract only. One contract. Now, this says I'll make more money if I'm right, but the problem is if I'm right, it starts to deteriorate on this side where it increases on this side. And I start to get more and more theta positive. So the one is just, you have much more to risk, right? Much more to risk from a time value standpoint. So we wanted to be theta neutral, and then we wanted to be theta positive. Why? That puts probability in our favor. Does that make sense? Let me know. Okay, now, real quickly. And I'm going to show you this. Remember, all we have to do is come into our resources. We scroll up a little bit. We go, we have the first 4 parts of the first option trade where you really dive into the analytics, stops, targets, Greeks for first option trade. It's an 8-part series that we're going to release the first half and then the second half. That's coming up. Be on the lookout. Where am I? FinViz? No. Screener. Nope, that's the heat map. Where's the screener? I keep talking and there it is. Sorry. Let's get here. Nope, let's go here. Okay. So remember that when we do this, the search is already run. All I need to do now, come in here and say, I want utilities. And just like that, I've got 23 stocks. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to go through. Okay. AES, SRE. I got to tell you, and I think I said this last time. AES, it did break out. This one has been moving up, and I just think it's just got a really lackluster trend. If anything, I would add AES. I'm disinclined to add. However, I'm going to move this back. I'm going to put it to the group. We're going to, as a group, make these changes. Do we add one of these two? If yes, which one? All you got to do is put a Y, comma, and then the symbol you think we should put. If you don't think we should put one, give me an N. Say, nah, Scott, I think you're right. Neither of these are that good. We're not desperate for utilities. We're saying, hey, we think there should be some good candidates. What do you think? And I want you to recognize that what we're doing is what should become your personal, individual search process on a weekly basis. Man, it's quiet. Yes, SRE. Okay, Clint likes that trend. I feel like it's so loud. It's like it moved up and then just like nothing. Moved up. I don't know. I'm a no personally. Now here's how you can see how our group, we use the same trading plan. We score the market the same way. But we said, what should we do? First person, yes, SRE. Second person, yes, AES. Third person, no. That's how personality shows. No matter what, there's always going to be where you're like, well, I like this and I don't. And that's okay. Right? All right. So far, we have 2 for AES, 1 for SRE, 3 for no. Me, David, Dan. 3 for no. Ooh, 3 for AES. 3 for AES. Sempra's a little choppy. Do anyone want to be a tiebreaker? I need one more for either AES or for no. Whoever votes next gets to decide the fate of one of these two stocks. Is it a no or is it AES? No, boom. Wilbur made the executive decision. Steven's saying yes, but he didn't give a symbol. It's too late. We're moving on. Now, of course, Phil weighs in too. Yes. Like I said, we're not desperate to add utilities. I'm actually reluctant to add utilities. So my answer is no, I don't need either of these. Let's go to the next one. Independent power. Okay, so these guys had some strength, little consolidation, breaking out again. I'm inclined to go with VST. Why? Because this one had a breakout consolidation, and this is the second move where I feel like this is the first move. I don't know. I think we could go either way on these. 42 billion, 160 billion. I mean, this thing is flying. This stock went from 40 to 120. This is up 300% this year. Flying. What do you guys think? I'm going to put both of these. We're going to put both of these, and then one of them is going to get weeded out. Put both. One is going to get, we're going to turn it into a Thunderdome kind of a situation. 2 men enter. 1 man leaves. All right, let's go to the next one. When in doubt, you can always rely on Thunderdome to solve disputes and problems. I've found that to be true. This is the big one right here. You can see this is where all the strength is. And this is why it's important, so that we can be like, you know what, I'm actually going to skip. Let's go to regulated gas. Do we like this for gas? I mean, it's okay. It's not really that tradable. It's kind of a grinder, and that's what utilities actually tends to do, and why I'm reluctant. So I'm going to say no to that one, but if you like it, you can put it on yours. Regulated utilities, nothing. Renewable utilities. No, I like GEV. I think GEV looks like it's like smashing higher. It's got some momentum. I'm putting it on GEV. That means where I'm going to need to update the watch list, and I'll post it with the updates. I'll let you know when that happens. Let's go back to regulated. Nope. Regulated electric. And let's go to... what did I do here? I'm not sure what I did. Regulated electric. Okay. What do we like? This peg is standing out to me. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. We got to be patient with it, but that looks great. I like peg. I like Southern. I like Duke. I like AEP. Those are my 4. This one, some of these just look like they haven't done as much. I mean, you can make an argument for that. I don't see as much swing. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. These two actually look like they're setting up. So I would say for me, and I want to hear from the group, I'm thinking PEG, that's a definite. I'm thinking Southern, SO. And I've traded both of these two before, AEP and Southern before, and Duke. So that's probably why I like those. Anyone have any arguments or concerns with those selections? Let me know. Speak now or forever hold your peace. So I'm going to add Duke. I'm going to add AEP. I'm going to add SO. I'm going to add PEG. So that's 6. We added 1, 2. We added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We only expect maybe 5 of them to stay. Okay. That's good searching. That's good watch list expansion. Do you have any questions about that? Remember that we have 2 million shares selected on this search. The expectation is that we should have volatility in place. But I do want to check, right? I mean, you can see that Dominion's only 48 billion, Duke is 89 billion. That larger cap's going to mean more likely to have good options. That's only 54. That's 98. That's 45. But you can see we don't have any real small. There's a 19. That's a big one right there. Okay. Lastly, before we wrap tonight up, this was power packed. I got to tell you, I like it better when we do like the beginner stuff, take a break, then we hit the trading. So I'm not going to miss the debates on Tuesdays, throwing things off. Let's get to the watch list and see what we like, what we don't like. It's funny, we have 2 already, and I see more potentially coming. And I don't see any reason to panic with anything I'm in now. That's what I see. Tell me what you see. Tell me if you're concerned. If you are, tell me why. Apple got back up here. It's kind of, cupped itself now. Maybe handle. I don't know. We'll see. The buyers tried to go and they couldn't do it. Was it impacted by the news? Absolutely, I think it was. Here's AEP. AEP gave a signal and it's kind of stalling. If this thing started to go again, you could make an argument. You can make that argument right there for sure. If you got in on the 3rd candle last time, would you be like, hey, even if it stalled a little and then did this, would I be okay with it? Yeah. The answer is yes. Aflac continues to go strongly. That was a good one that we talked about as a group. Amazon is close. I like the way that consumer discretionary is moving. I think this is a great looking setup. It's oversold. It's sitting right on top of its 50. No volume. I mean, there was a little bit yesterday. Today, I'm like, nah. This turns, that's a go. AXP we liked. It's stalling. Okay. Has it gone wrong? No. Am I going to panic? No. Same thing if I had taken this one. This one looks like it's still setting up. I think that regional banks like Bank of New York Mellon, this looks fabulous. I'm thinking this is another financial getting ready. This one already turned. This one is looking like it's close. That looks strong. Does that look like the sellers have taken control? Looks like the sellers can barely make a scratch. Here, the sellers haven't even begun. They're like, oh, we can't do anything. What does that tell me about industrials? Tells me I like industrials. CL. Yeah, I could see you having capitulated. The defensives, we said. Now, has it broken? No. So I could see someone having said, you know what? Once it started to violate this, I got out. If you stayed and you're like, I am not going until it convincingly breaks support, I get that. This is a judgment call right here. I got to tell you, I'm surprised. I would have thought the defensives came in a little better today, and maybe we'll see what happens. Chipotle still setting up. Costco. Costco's a little iffy for me right now. We'll keep an eye on it. The Dow looks overextended. Duke just kind of sitting right now. Patient. Fastenal looks like it's setting up for a new trade. Just made a new higher high. Now I'm waiting for the higher low. The sellers have control. They're not doing much. Bitcoin pulling back. GEV. GE Vernova. Oh, is this a GE spinoff? What about GE Aerospace? Should we have been watching that this whole time? Looks fine. Let's go GEN. I think this looks more stable, actually. But it needs a pullback. So be patient. Gold. I still think gold is pulling back, so be patient. General Motors. It looks like this is turning into a channel. There's resistance at 50. 1, 2, 3. Recency and frequency. It's strong. There's support down here. 1, 2, 3. Strong. This channel is about the same size as this channel. Some people will be like, well, then can't I trade the bounce from here to here? You can, but are you bullish? I'm not here to just like maybe trade a channel that I happen to find. I want to trade the best trade I can find, so that's not for me. Google, it still moved higher. Home Depot's a champion racehorse. Look at it, just keep going. Small caps meandered back a little bit. KKR. So my two regional banks are KKR and BK. This weird volume. I don't know what that's all about, but let's see what the volume actually looks like now. Volume here is about 3 million. The other one's about 4. So I'd probably be leaning towards Bank of New York Mellon. Bank of New York Mellon. Coca-Cola, it's still trying. I still think this could have a chance to at least get back up in here where I can get out, maybe get a little gain on this trade. It just never broke. Same thing, never broke support. MasterCard, McDonald's. McDonald's new high, waiting for the pullback. Meta still strong. MMM pulling back a little bit. Morgan Stanley sitting. Microsoft. I didn't love today that it's breaking the 50 big candle. No volume, average volume. As long as it can stabilize at or above, I'd say probably 415. I'm okay with that. NDAQ, we got out of that one way back. Now it looks like it's turning around and maybe ready to go again. We got this piece, a little bit of gain, ready to go again. Netflix, setting up potentially. NRG, nothing right now. NVIDIA, I think NVIDIA is setting up. That's an engulfing candle, but it's not big volume. It's sitting on top of the 50. If this thing holds support here, kind of a little bit of a cup and handle type situation, I think it looks great, actually. I think PEG is overextended, but when it pulls back, I'll like it. PGR looks like it could be turning into a trade right here, actually. PLTR still looks fine. Even when in the midst of today, it was actually looking profitable for a minute, but PLTR still looks fine. Nothing wrong here. Q's pulled back, but still looking like it's setting a higher low. SO starting to move. SPY consolidating, but not breaking. Tesla looks like it's a little overextended, maybe pulling back. TSM. I like TSM. I think TSM looks real nice. That looks like a real strong cup and handle. I like TSM better than NVIDIA right now. Let me know your thoughts. There's the old dog, the old dirty dog, UNP, dirty dog. USB pulling back. The dollar not doing much, still looks favorable for our conditions. The VIX, not great, but it held. It held. VST overextended. Walmart. I don't know. XLB pulling back in a consolidation. It's trying. XLC. Same. Energy. Again. It pushed, but it didn't break out. Let's see what tomorrow does. If it doesn't break out, then today's news is less consequential. That's the thought process. Financials, flat. Industrials still look super strong to me, right? How do you argue that? Technology looks like a consolidation that's turning into a buy signal. Staples, iffy. Utilities is just kind of grinding sideways up, looking good. That's why we like it. Healthcare. You could make the argument. I bet you could find some pharmaceuticals looking pretty good. Lastly, consumer discretionary seems to be, discretionary seems to be flagging. Looks pretty good. There it is. Did I miss anything? We have 2 minutes. We'll wrap it up. One video will be posted, so we can go watch. We can go watch the debate, see how that looks. Politics. You gotta hate it. All right, listen, everybody. It's good to see you. What's the schedule tomorrow? We'll be on 15 minutes before the market opens. We've got trades on, trades we're thinking about, trades that look like they're coming. Glenn will be on the last hour of the day. Then we'll have Foundations Thursday and then wrap up on Friday. Good session. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was useful. It's good to see everybody. Have a great rest of your night. I'll post the recording. If you missed the alerts, go check the alert channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. As always, happy trading.